Proverbs 25:2 says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter." Considering this proverb, we first have to put on the sandals or walk in the bare feet of people who lived in 1000 BC when this was written. There was no internet. Before I turned 30, there was no internet anywhere in my life. It had begun to make inroads into schools and businesses, but only recently had anyone even begun to talk about anything like the internet. That was about 25 years ago. If I wanted to do research, I could go out to the public library or borrow books and materials from friends or our little church library, or I could spend a lot of money buying the books and magazines and VHS tapes and whatever else I needed to do the research. Today, I have access to all of that and way more just right here at my desk on my computer or in the palm of my hand in my phone. I think most people have already forgotten how different things used to be. We had to wait for a particular day of the week and a time on that one day in order to watch a program like In Search Of, narrated by Leonard Nimoy, Spock of Star Trek. And I've got the box set here because when I was a kid, that was on 10:30 p.m. on Sunday nights, and I had to be in bed and be getting ready for school the next morning, so I didn't get to see hardly any of those when they first aired. Today, the only problem we have is a lot of good shows are spread out over numerous streaming services, and they all cost money, and that gets expensive. But even with the limits we might have financially to access these materials, just accessing the free materials offers more than has been humanly possible throughout human history. And before the 20th century, there was no TV, no radio, or even public libraries were a rare commodity. I looked it up. Even before the 19th century, there were only a few dozen libraries, and the first one on record was 1561 in Spain and 1602 in Oxford, England. So my point? Well, for nearly all of human history, only kings and the very wealthy, among the top 10% of the wealth in the world, had the ability to search out a matter. And many kings and people of power purposely limited literacy in order to keep their subjects subject to their rule. So when our proverb says, "But the honor of kings is to search out a matter," that's been the reality until these end times. And we ought to understand the incredible wealth of information we have is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Daniel 12:4 says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." We could talk about the fact hardly anybody ever traveled very far from their homes until recent years, and especially airplanes came along. But knowledge shall be increased. So with that said, we also have to understand that God treats all repentant sinners who believe the gospel in our dispensation as kings. If you will hear His word, He will reveal Himself to you. First, God gave us the Old Testaments full of types and shadows of what was to come, but it was necessary that many things were concealed by the Lord until the Messiah would come. And when Jesus came to earth as the infant child of Mary, He fulfilled those types and shadows and then sent His Holy Spirit to give us the Pauline and general epistles along with the book of Revelation. In less than a century after His crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension, Jesus had given us a book with the details to explain the Old Testament, which had been concealed. The saying goes, that which is in the Old Testament concealed is in the New Testament revealed. And like kings, we have access to God's library of 66 books and can search out such matters with the help of God's Spirit and the counsel of biblical pastors and teachers and other Bible students. It's wonderful to be saved, as the book of Revelation reminds us in Revelation 5:10 that God has saved us and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth, and we have the privilege of searching out such biblical matters, thanks to His wonderful gift of the Bible.